So here we go, finding sides. So you've just watched the video on how to find angles, or a review of how to find angles using SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, and tangent. Now a quick review on how to find sides. Now really there are two types of calculations that you'll have to do in order to find sides. Your trig ratio, sine, cosine, or tangent, might vary from question to question, but the steps are exactly the same. Okay? So first type. Again, first thing I always do, write down that acronym. Sine, cosine, tangent, SOHCAHTOA. Tells me the three trig ratios, tells me that sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. Step 2, go to your triangle, label your triangle. Opposite to the 90-degree angle, the hypotenuse. Here's the angle I'm talking about or in my question. Opposite to that, my opposite side. The other side beside the angle in question, my adjacent side. Step 1, SOHCAHTOA. Step 2, label the triangle. Step 3, now you need to decide which trig function to use, sine, cosine, or tangent. Well, I've got this angle. Oh, bad color. I've got this angle, 36. I'm looking for the opposite side, x, and I have the hypotenuse, 82. What trig function relates opposite and hypotenuse? Sine. So now I know that I'm using my sine ratio. So I go sine of an angle is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Oops. Almost spelled out hypotenuse there. Now I substitute sine 36. Sine 36 is equal to opposite, I'm going to call x because it's labeled x up there, over my hypotenuse, which is 82. Now from here, because I have a variable, a single variable in an equation, this equation is solvable. So I just have to manipulate this equation so that I get x all by itself. In order to get x by itself, I need to multiply this side by 82. Because I multiply the right side by 82, I multiply the left side by 82. So now I have this. 82 times the sine of 36 is equal to x. Because what happens is the 82 times, or the divide by 82 and multiply by 82 on this side cancel out. I don't like having the variable on the right side of the equal sign, so I'm just going to rewrite it. 82 times the sine of 36. And you very simply punch that into your handy dandy calculator. 82 times the sine of 36 gives you 48.19839. This is a side measurement. The question does not tell us what to round to, so I round to 2 decimal places, 48 point, and in this case 20, and if I had some units, I write down my units. That's one type of calculation that you would have to do. And again, depending on the side measurements that you have, will depend on which trig ratio you will use. But the steps will all be the same. The only thing that will change is whether you're using sine, cosine, or tangent. Now for the other one, which I'll do in blue here. Here's my other one. Here is our triangle. We have SOHCAHTOA written down somewhere. Done. Label our triangle. This is the hypotenuse. Here's my angle I'm talking about. This is the opposite side. This side will be the adjacent side. SOHCAHTOA is written down, my triangle is labeled. Now I need to decide which trig function I'm going to use. I go back to my question. I say, okay, so I've got this angle. I know my opposite side, and I'm looking for my adjacent side. So what trig function relates opposite and adjacent? Tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So I write down my formula. My formula is tangent is equal tangent of an angle is equal to opposite over adjacent. Substitute my numbers. Tangent 66 is equal to opposite 72 over my adjacent, which is x. Now, this is where you have to remember that your steps or your calculations will change because x is on the bottom. So notice my variable down there on the bottom. Because that's on the bottom, my steps will change. Okay? I'll give you a nice, simple little way to deal with this. I make this into a fraction. Any number can be made into a fraction by putting it over 1. Once I have made that into a fraction, then I simply do my cross multiply, divide steps. Cross multiply, oops, not cross multiply, cross multiply, and divide. So that's going to end up looking like this. X is equal to 72 times 1 divided by tangent 66. Put that into your handy dandy calculator. You get 32.056465, which is going to be equal to 32.06. And you'd be done. Now, cross multiply divide is not really proper mathematical steps. Okay? There is a different way that mathematically you actually should perform those steps. I'll do it again real quick down here just so you can see and so you know what those steps are. So this is where we were at. We were at tangent 66 is equal to what was it? 72 over x. 72 over x. Proper mathematical steps to solve for x in that position. The first thing I need to do is get that x out of the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by x. Because I multiply by x on the left-hand side, I multiply by x on the right-hand side. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you do the other. The x's on the right side are going to cancel. That's going to leave me with x times the tangent of 66 is equal to 72. Well, I still don't have x by itself. So my next step, I'm going to divide by tangent 66 because I want this x by itself. So I get rid of the tangent 66. And again, just like before, these are going to cancel. But because I divide one side of the equal sign by tangent 66, I divide the other side of the equal sign by tangent 66. That now gives me this, x equals 72 divided by the tangent of 66 as an equation. I punch that into my calculator and I get exactly the same thing, 32.06. So either way you get exactly the same answer. One is a quick shortcut method. Cross multiply divide is a quick shortcut method, or proper mathematical steps right here. All right? So what you have to remember when you're looking at these right triangles and solving for information is that you actually have 3 tools at your disposal. 1, Pythagoras. 2, all triangles add up to 180 degrees. All interior angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. And 3, as a quick review, we just did SOHCAHTOA. So you have those 3 tools. So when you're asked to solve a triangle, which means solve triangle, means to find all sides and all angles If you're asked to solve a triangle, it doesn't matter which tool you use, Pythagoras, 180-degree rule, SOHCAHTOA, but you have to be able to tell what all the different side and angle measurements are. This is a quick review of what you should have remembered or should know from grade 10. Next step right now, review worksheet on solving triangles.